Hi, I'm Lovoni.
And I'm Sarah, and welcome to the Lovoni and Sarah podcast, where we talk all things weight loss and well-being. Today we're changing things up a little. Lovoni and I are interviewing each other. Neither of us have seen the questions we're about to get asked, so our answers are going to be on the spot and nothing is off limits. Well, almost nothing. We've shared lots about ourselves over the last 11 months with listeners, and today we're going to share even more. So go and grab a coffee or a cocktail, depends where you are, and enjoy this episode. Before we dive into our questions and answers, let's do our usual check-in to see how our past week has been. Lovoni, fill us in. What have you been doing?
What have I been doing? Well, Monday I had a total shit day, I have to say. That was not good.
No.
Because we record on a Thursday, so it's Thursday today and then it's released on a Monday. I was really tired and I think it just snowballed because I find when I'm tired like that, it's not good.
Do you crave like sugary foods?
Just food in general.
Just food in general.
Yeah, so I had a bit of a carby day. I felt awful, but I did do some exercise in the afternoon. That made me feel a lot better. So, since then I've been good. Just exercise. That's what helps a lot for me. And just being really careful of too many carbs. Not so much sugar, but it's bread, I think.
Yeah, stodgy stuff.
Yeah, I find.
So what did that whole day just feel like it was tempting just to write it the whole day off and just think, stuff it, I don't care, I'm going to eat literally what I want and then not do anything else?
No.
Okay.
Which I would have done in the past.
Okay.
I mean, people would look at it and think, that was fine, what you had. But it was more than I normally would eat.
It's not what you wanted to do. Yeah.
And that's not it wasn't just what I normally would do. So I'm sure it's a lot better than how others work, but that's neither here nor there. I think it was just the amount that I had.
Okay.
And then later in the afternoon I decided I was going to have peanut butter on bread, which is fine.
Yeah.
That was kind of, and then I was like, oh, for fuck's sake, just stop eating. So
You're
that
not
was
searching for food all the time.
What's that?
We're searching for food all the time. Think like, what should I have next?
Yeah,
I get
kind
like that.
That whole comfort thing. I think I am going to plug in my headphones so I can hear you better. But yeah. So anyway, I got past it. What about you? How's your week been with your knee and everything?
Knee.
With your
Please
hip?
Don't tell me I need a knee.
Yeah, right. No, knees are good. Knees are good. Yeah, no, with your hip.
Good. The actual sort of mechanics of the knee. I've said knee now. You've got me on it. The mechanics of the hip.
That's so much better.
Oh, I can actually. Yeah, you sound a bit better now.
Do I?
Just for people that are not watching this, Lovoni's just plugged her earphones in, and it sounds different for some reason.
Does it really?
Yeah. Have you got a microphone on your headphones?
No.
Oh.
No.
There we go.
Oh.
Yes, you have.
What is that?
That's your microphone.
Maybe I do.
You have. You've just covered it over. There you go.
Oh. Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, you've got a microphone on them.
And so I sound better.
You do sound better.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, welcome.
Oh God, you think almost a year in we'd have a technical thing sorted. But normally I would record this just for people that, don't know this, and then upload it. My husband would put it onto the computer and put music in and da-da-da. But now we're on YouTube so people can watch us.
Yeah.
Sarah does that. So I've decided not to do that. I was doing it for a while as a backup, but now
we don't need to do things twice. We're all about efficiency. Let's not do things twice.
Yeah, simplifying things. Oh, and it has a microphone.
It does.
These are Lawrence's. He didn't even.
But what you need to do is not put your hand over the microphone.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
There we go. Or put, wrap a scarf around it. Or,
yeah, like that.
Yeah.
Like that.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I could definitely hear you much better. But it does mess with the dude. But whatever. That's not why I didn't.
Never call you vain. Never.
No, never.
Never.
Yes. Anyway, sorry.
What were we saying?
Your hips. How?
Oh, my hip, not my knee. Yes.
How's your recovery?
My hip,
going?
the actual joint and sort of physical part of it's doing really, really well. I'm doing really well on my physio exercises, making great progress. Some pain, obviously, still to deal with, but we're only 3 weeks in, so that's to be expected.
Yeah.
3 weeks is not long, is it? It feels like it was
No.
ages ago. And
God,
3
not
weeks
to go
is
through that.
nothing.
No.
So that's a good bit. I was going to be really open and honest and transparent with people, particularly if people have been through
But you
surgery.
decided not to be.
Yeah, I'm like, bugger off, let's move on. No, I am going to do that and say that, as we talked about last time round, and I think we spoke about last week on our catch up, you know, mentally last time I struggled and I went down a bit of into quite a dark place. And there's been a couple of times this week where I could start to feel it kind of looming. Is that the right word? You know, when it's just kind of there. And I've been really aware of that and thinking, okay, you know, this is natural. I did a bit of research on it as well in true Sarah style, and it's a very, very natural part of surgery, actually, particularly major surgery, because it's your body is coping with way more than you ever realize. And the chemicals that have been put in your body throughout the whole thing. So it's quite a standard situation for people to feel a range of anything from low through to fully depressed post-surgery, because also you have got to contend with your lack of mobility and the change to your life, albeit for it seems not long, for probably from someone from the outside saying, oh, it's only 6 weeks or 12 weeks or whatever, but
it feels like
it does. And for someone, you know, I am such a busy person, I'm on the go all the time, and so proactive and getting jobs done, and if something needs doing, I'm like, right, I'll just go and do it. I don't wait. And as we've joked about, and you've told me off before about, I'm up ladders, I'm on chairs, I'm hanging off here, there, and everywhere. I just get it done. So I think it's a natural part of that as well. You know, I'm stuck a bit for the time being,
at the mercy of others,
which I'm
vulnerable. That's how I felt.
Yeah,
it's
really grateful for
too.
You know, friends and family that are stepping in and being with me so that I'm safe, and you know, all of that sort of thing. That said, as a 47-year-old woman, I'm very used to running my own life.
It's very independent.
I am very independent. And so I think that has a role to play in it as well. You have a lot of time on your hands compared to normal. So your mind suddenly gets a bit busy, or lack of busy, if that makes sense. It's busy but lack of busy all at the same time.
And you notice things.
Yeah.
Like in the house.
And yes, exactly. Dirt or chores and things. And it's, you know, things have been great. I've had so much help. I'm actually at the process where I can do some cooking a bit now, so that's great. But it's not what you would normally do. Everyone's got their roles normally, haven't they? And they're completely upended at the moment. So I think there's an element of that, but I think the most important part is I'm aware of it, so that it doesn't then suddenly run
viral.
But then to give people a bit of an antidote to that. So, okay, so how do you cope with that? And what I've tried to do is to have a routine as much as I possibly can, which has definitely helped. So sort of make sure I'm up and dressed. It's not early, but I'm up and dressed sort of between 8:30 and 9:30 in the morning. I then try to do some work at my desk for anything between half an hour and an hour, because I shouldn't really be sitting for any longer than that in one go. I've done a bit of crafting one day, just to sort of, you know, only for a little bit of time, but just a bit of something to keep me occupied. Lots of thinking in my head about my future plans, which is, I haven't cemented anything yet, which I think, because I feel not ready to cement things until I know when I'm going to be able to get going. But I've got lots of plans and visions of how I want to do. So that's how I'm combating that. I'm also, particularly over the last few days, trying to eat well, because I think that's going to make a massive difference. So really, really reduced the sugar intake. Not that I was having an excessive amount anyway, but you know, just where as I described last week, having some treats and things, I just haven't had that as much. So that's how I'm trying to balance it. I've noticed that I definitely to drink a lot more water still, probably trying to flush out the pain meds, you know, that are in my system and stuff. So I need to try and up my water. So it's been useful to try and fall back on all of the things that we've spoken about over the last year, 11 months. So that's how I've been combating it. But I just wanted to share one little thing, actually, because we didn't talk about this last week, but Lovoni and I have chatted about this, obviously, just in our friendship sort of chats. But how many was it? It was a week after my surgery so I'd only been home a few days. There was a random knock on my door. Do you remember me telling you about this?
Oh my
And there was
God.
a
I've told
lady,
people this story. This is so bizarre.
a lady on my doorstep who is in absolute pieces. I my heart went out to her. She was sobbing. She was clearly not in a
How
good
old was she, you reckon?
late 20s, maybe
Okay.
sort of early 30s, but she really needed some help. Okay. And clearly I welcomed her in. I mean, I was like, come in, let's get you some help. I'm not going to share too much because it's her private story, you know, and she, but just put it to the fact that she was really not okay. But we managed to find her some help, and I ended up making sure someone came home so we could drive her to where to go and get the help. And we drove around the countryside, and you know, I gave her some warm blankets. Oh my gosh, bless her. She'd walked about 3.5 miles in pouring rain and wind and cold, covered in leaves and trees and branches. Honestly, I just felt so sorry for it. And she was so upset.
So bizarre.
And it was bizarre. I'd never met this lady in my life ever. I live on a road where there's plenty of other houses.
I was just about to say, it's not like you live out in the middle of nowhere.
No, I mean,
live,
I am
you know,
I am in a village, but there's plenty of other houses. So
yeah,
I just felt that for whatever reason, my front door or my home must have felt welcoming. And I'm genuinely really pleased that she did knock on my door, because I think, well, I'm glad that I was in a position that I could help her, albeit I couldn't drive anywhere, I couldn't do anything, but I was like, I'm completely stuck, but you know, we managed. Anyway, so that was the backstory. This morning, I've got my dad here with me today because everyone's taking turns to spend time with me. So dad's downstairs and I'm upstairs, and I was getting myself ready for our chat today. And there was a knock on the door, and my dad calls up, Sarah, there's someone to see you. Anyway, the lady has come back and knocked on my door. And I was just going to share with you, this has now made my day feel a little bit more, you know what, I do make a difference to the world. You know, when you're feeling a bit low, isn't it funny how the smallest of things. Last week, Lovoni, your card that you sent me arrived in the post, and that brought me such happiness. I was like, it was a really lovely card, and it's the little things that make a difference.
Right.
So today I was just going to share with you. So on the outside, she bought me some flowers, she bought me some yellow roses, and on the outside of her envelope, I know she's written, because obviously she didn't know my name. I knew hers because I had to ask her and help her, but she didn't mind. She wrote, to the compassionate and caring lady and her partner and friend, because my friend happened to be here at the time as well, who provided me with a safe place, and has put a little heart underneath. And then it's a thank you card, and it says, thank you from the bottom of my heart for being there in my time of need. The world is a brighter place because of people like you. Warmest wishes. And I just thought, I still could have a little weep now, because I just thought, what a lovely thing.
Good for you.
I never once expected to see or hear from her again, to be honest. I was like, you know, we'd got her to where she needed to be. And I've said to her, you know, genuinely, if you find yourself stuck, of course, you know, I know where I am. And I'm not saying we're not going to be, I not got any contact details for or anything. It doesn't, it's not like we've sort of sparked this friendship, but I just thought, it's those things that you have to remind yourself, perhaps when you're feeling a bit low about something, or things are not going the way that you want them to do.
Compassion that, you know, you showed somebody.
The difference you can make to somebody else.
And
honestly, it wasn't, all right, it was a bit out of my comfort zone, because I wasn't, you know, 5 days after surgery, wasn't feeling at my shiniest, but all it took was a little bit of effort, a bit of effort.
Came into your house.
She did come into my house.
Sarah we weren't actually talking. She's telling me this in a text. And me, who watches a lot and reads a lot of true crime, you can imagine my response. And I said, like, had she, and I'm not belittling her or trying to make a joke of it, but I was like, had she been held captive and escaped from
I know you were worried, weren't
from
you?
like some serial killer or something, or you know, God, because I mean, was it Dahmer? Jeffrey Dahmer. I always get him and
he was the one that managed. No, it was Dahmer, the person that managed to escape.
That would pretend he had something wrong with his leg or whatever, or and someone would come and help him, and whoop, in the back of the van they go, and that was it, you know, dead. You know, so I'm having all these thoughts, and I'm thinking, God, would I have been so compassionate? I might have gone, just shut the door, locked it, I'll call 911 for you, something, I don't know. Or what is it there? 999.
999.
Yeah. So
but
good for you.
She's
Seriously.
feeling a lot better, which is obviously top of the list. And but I just thought, what a lovely thing that she's gone out of her way and come back to say thank you.
That's so nice.
And on, on a particular period in my time where I'm okay, but some days I feel a little bit like a bit lower. Then I thought, well, that's genuinely made my day. So she's done it in reverse.
That's the thing, the little things like that, or reaching out to someone if you think about them, or just sending, if somebody's going through a difficult time or a bit low or whatever, just sending a little quote that could be uplifting, like those things that are just small.
Letting someone that you're thinking of them. That's what it is.
Thinking of them. It makes a difference. Yeah.
So anyway, that was my little pearl of wisdom for today.
Story.
Only to Sarah. I won't
only
even go into details. Earlier on in that week, we'd already picked some other random guy up off the bloody street and taken it somewhere else. It's like, oh my gosh.
No way.
And actually, as he finds out, there was a connection that he knew my son, but he doesn't know that. And oh my goodness, it's just only me.
Oh, but good Lord.
Anyway, so it's a lovely story. We're able to help her. She's feeling a lot better, which is the most important thing. But I was just touched that she went out of her way to do that for me today.
Yeah.
And I just felt that the universe delivers sometimes, doesn't it? On the days when you're perhaps questioning or feeling a certain way, then there's generally, if you look for it or not even ask for it, there's a bit of light that's
so never give up.
Yeah.
And don't give up on compassion and human kindness, because I think sometimes, when shit
there's
happens,
so much horrible stuff going on in the world, you can think badly of everybody, can't you?
Yeah.
So let's do some quick fire questions. Do you want to go first or shall I go first? I've done a lot of talking. I'm going to ask you a question first.
Okay, radio.
So these are not in any particular order. I feel like
and Sarah and I haven't seen them. Like we haven't sent
shared,
them to
we
each
haven't
other.
Discussed anything.
Yeah.
So it might be a bit deep as my first question, but here it is.
That's
it goes
all right.
Straight in. What is your current opinion of yourself?
Oh, okay. And we're being totally honest.
Total honest.
Like my opinion of myself right now, as we speak, is that I know that I can do anything that I set my mind to, right? Yeah. Except maybe have a baby, because that part of my life's finished. But
you still cook it in a different way.
In a different way, yeah.
Of course you could. Yeah.
But so it's knowing that I can do things. It's feeling frustrated with myself because I'm not. Right. And so a little frustrated, a little stuck with myself. But I am really pushing the whole being kind to myself thing. Understanding that, telling myself that I'm just useless because I haven't reached my goal, or haven't done this, or or shoulda, woulda, coulda thing. So part in true Libra style, part it's like a scale.
Yeah,
there's the part of me that's thinking you can do it, Lovoni, and I know I'm going to do it. And then the other part where it's like, oh, for the love of God, woman, get out of your own way. So that's, does that make sense?
It does make sense.
Okay, all right.
And I could probably I've got that from you. I could feel that from you. So I think it's that to turn around now, isn't it? I think that's top of your list.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So in the past, I know you've lost a lot of weight, right? So what differs from the mindset then to now?
At the point I'm thinking of in particular, when I lost a lot of weight, it was really shallow. And by that, I meant I literally ate next to nothing, and I ran every day, quite a good distance, but it was all about trying to fit an exact size of dress. And it was kind of for show. So I was doing it for show so that I looked a certain way. Now I'm doing it for my health, and actually the size of my dress size is kind of irrelevant. I want to be a smaller size, but I want to be healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And so now what I'm doing is, with it coming down, which is far, far, far slower, but is about my health, and it never was about my health. So that's the difference. And so that in itself, I think, has made it harder, because I'm not seeing instant results. Whereas when I did it before, I would see instant results, and I'm like, oh, there you go, done, bang.
Right.
But as we then proved, that the moment I'm not in that overly strict frame of mind, I then flit straight back to the other way and gain a load of pounds. So that's the difference for me, is I'm really focusing on my health and having to remind myself this is going to be slower, but it'll be so good in the long run. So yeah, I think that's my difference.
Okay, it's good. Okay.
What is your favorite mantra in life? Do you have one or multiple ones?
One of them is never say never.
Right.
That's probably the one I use the most.
Yeah.
And another one that came from, or my mum used to say this to me, but it was told to her when she decided to not put my nan in a home,
Right.
to take care of her at home. And nan had a colostomy bag, she had cancer, and you know, and it was a lot of work for mum. She retired from her job to take care of Nana, but and then she would have nurses nan would have nurses that would come in the morning and shower her and get her ready. And one of the nurses said this to my mum, and then mum, I didn't hear it, but mum said it to me, is that start how you want to finish. And that, I think, is like a big mantra for me.
Yeah.
Because anything that you go into, whether it be a relationship, a healthy eating plan, a new job, anything, if you start it how you want it to go on, because especially in a relationship, for example, it's very hard to change the rules partway through
once they've been established. Yeah,
once it's been established. So yeah, they're my two things: never say never and start how you want to finish.
Like it.
Yeah.
Like it.
Okay. What do you think you'll be doing differently in 2024 pertaining to, you know, your health, that perhaps you haven't done up to this stage?
I'm going to make my exercise a priority.
Right.
I have fitted it in, because I have been doing it up until 3 weeks ago. I have been doing it, but it's been fitting it in, and it's been negotiable, and it's dropped off when something else, like another task, has been more important, or when I haven't felt like it, or you know, there's plenty of ors. And that, with this long time that I've just described that I've had for planning things, that is going to be one of my differences, is my exercise is going to be routine and non-negotiable.
Yeah,
it's going to be a priority.
Routine, that's the thing. Yeah,
routine
is part of
a priority. So instead of when I look at it and think, oh, I've got to do that, I can do that after that's become my priority. And it doesn't mean I do it first, but it will not move. You know, if it's in my day, it's going to happen.
It's going to stay on that list.
So that's my difference for 2024.
Okay. Going to check in on that, see how that's going.
Now I've said that out loud. Great.
Right. Well, no, it's good.
It is good.
Say it out loud.
It's good.
Because it's so easy to let it go by the wayside. Remember, there's a book called How to Eat a Frog, or something about eating a frog first. Have you heard about that?
No.
And the author talks about, like, choose 2 or 3 things in your day, like the bigger things, that absolutely have to get done. And then once you get those things done, whatever else
can fit in.
It can fit in, and it's easier. So that needs to be like the frog that you eat.
I agree.
During the day. Yeah,
I agree. What is your average daily routine, and how, it's a bit like you've just said, and how is it going to be different if it needs to be?
Okay. I get up quite early, and I always make the bed.
Yes.
That I think is important. And I either do this, it depends on the time of year. In summer, I will exercise first and then have a shower. But right now it's the other way. I'm exercise. I get ready, and then I exercise. Yeah. But having said that, I want to switch it back again, and just get up and exercise.
Yeah.
Because that way, as I'm getting ready, or if something happens, or I check my email as I'm getting ready and think, oh shit, I'll get on that.
Get distracted.
I get distracted. It gets away from me, and like you said, then suddenly the exercise hasn't happened. So I'm going to go back to that, and that will be my routine. So I find I don't think that because I work primarily from home, I don't think my time management has been as good as I want it to be. So as far as the routine goes, I do all of that. Then I would pretty much start my day, which is usually making something, videoing it, photographing it, and then writing about it, or researching for the podcast. There's things that I do on certain days, which is working out quite well for me, but it's very easy for me to get caught up in something else. So I want to put a lot more time into marketing and getting it out there, what I want to do. That's going to become part of what I do in a day, my routine, because I think that I'm good on the content part of, but not getting it out there. On getting it out there. You can have the best thing in the world, and if nobody knows about you, well, exactly, what's the point? So just not getting distracted so much, because I find in my routine I do get distracted very easily. I am like a child, and that's and that's the truth. When I get in the zone, I'm good. I can get a lot done. And they say you want something done, give it to a busy person. So and then I do just depends on the time, the breakfast, lunch and dinner, or I just do lunch and dinner, and I try and then finish eating like before 6 o'clock. I'd like to push that even earlier, and do it by 5, because I try and go to bed earlier, because my husband's alarm goes off at 4:45. So so that's pretty much my routine. But I'm finding I'm watching too much TV at the moment.
Oh.
Yeah.
What, and then going to bed late?
No, just when I could be doing other things. And sometimes I will sit down with my computer and edit images and do stuff like that. I just want it to be, I think we've talked about this in another podcast. There's 4 hours in the day, roughly, where you're not doing anything. You're not sleeping, working, eating, right?
Yeah.
So I want to make those 4 hours more
count.
Yeah, I want to make them count. And it doesn't necessarily mean I'll be working, but like reading or crocheting or doing something a bit more productive. So yeah, that's me. Okay. How do you think achieving your weight loss and health goals will change your life?
It's going to give me the vibrancy that I crave. So I think I've, for not all, but the majority of my life, felt quite mediocre with regards to my health or my ability, my physical ability in things. And it's stopped me doing a lot with regards to sort of sport or family enjoyment, because through embarrassment or lack of ability, through mobility and size and being overweight, all these things. So that's how it's going to change. It's going to give me more vibrancy, and then that will then, I think, through some work, but allow me to then get involved with some of these things that I've shied away from before, that I really deep down would like to have a go and do, but have been embarrassed by or fearful of, whichever.
Right.
That's what I'm working towards. My health and strength is going to, when it's improving, is going to give me vibrancy, which is going to unlock all of these things that I've dodged.
And confidence too. The confidence to go and do them. Yeah. And they're not give a shit what anybody else thinks.
Yeah. But I think actually, genuinely, if you can't do it, then I think it's fair enough avoiding it. But I will be able to do it better once I'm in that place.
Yeah.
What's your favourite thing about yourself, physical or personality?
Physically, it's probably that I guess, my eyebrows. There we go.
Okay.
Well, you know, because
I was not expecting that answer, but okay.
well, just having dark features,
Yes.
I think that's probably it. And then it's, oh gosh, my personality. There's probably two things. One is compassion. I think I'm very compassionate, and the other is my ability to pretty much do anything I set my mind to. I'm very strong-minded and driven. Yeah. So that's those.
It's interesting we had to search for that a bit harder than the things that you didn't like.
Oh God, yes. We could do a whole episode on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. What does a perfect day look like for you? There's like money's no option, location's no option.
Oh, okay.
No, there's no restraints. Just what's a perfect day look like for you?
I would be waking up in an apartment somewhere lovely and warm, but somewhere in Italy or Sicily or in that sort of location. And I would wake up and I would do some exercise, whether that's going for a swim out in the sea, or whether it's doing some yoga or a little run, a little jog or something like that. Have a walk down into the town, get myself a coffee and a croissant or something little for breakfast, and then come back and do some work. So I'd like to work. I want to do my work in a gorgeous location like that, and then finish in enough time that I could have a really sort of a lovely leisurely lunch with friends, you know, walk into town again and have a leisurely lunch. That sort of lifestyle that's my perfect day. I'd need to have the money to be able to be in that location and live in that way, but I don't want flashy things. I don't want a flashy car.
No.
I don't want I don't designer clothes. I just want I like to be happy with what I'm wearing, but that is my ultimate dream, and you know, isn't unrealistic, I don't think.
No, it's not at all.
I can make that work. So yeah, that's my ideal day.
Yeah, I like that. Okay.
Yeah. What's same thing, what's your dream and how do you plan to get there?
Mine would be, I would love to live in that'd be so nice, living like in Italy or you know, just because of the way of life and how they embrace food, I think. But I would like to live in some big old stone place, and the same thing, get up in the morning and, you know, go for a lovely walk or a swim, and come back, have a lovely, you know, healthy breakfast of fresh things that maybe I picked up on the market on the way home. And have, you know, my husband not have to work. He would also then be, you know, part of my business. Yeah. Because I would still want to keep working. You know, maybe check in and schedule some talks that I'm going to go and do somewhere, whether it, you know, somewhere, doesn't have to be exotic, but like you said too, more simplicity. I don't want like a huge wardrobe. I don't need any flashy car. I just it's just that life where
the way of life.
Yeah, it's abundance. There's lots of fresh food and lots of fresh seafood, and you know, people come and stay and visit. I love that, you know, because you've got all these rooms, and that's not being greedy. That's just, I love
that's what you want.
That's just what I want. And like you said, I don't think that's
unrealistic.
I don't think it's unrealistic. Well, okay, one more quick one for you. So we've got what obstacles do you think are standing in your way for achieving what you want?
Mindset. That is the only obstacle.
Yeah.
It literally is the only, and I think that you can always do it within your budget realm. this doesn't have to be, you have to have all the money, because
Mhm.
you know, you do it within what is feasible for you. But the thing that's my obstacle is my mindset is,
Okay.
are you doing it or are you not?
Yeah.
It's as simple as
Shit'll
that.
get off the pot. Yeah.
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 So that's my biggest blocker, and that's the bit that sometimes working well and sometimes isn't. So that's the thing I
Right.
have to change.
Okay, well, we're going to work on that in 2024 or now, starting now.
Straight away.
What's cooking in your kitchen, Sarah? Just
I've been, I did last night. I did a really lovely meatball and 3-bean chili, and I put it in some tortilla wraps with a really light grating of cheese on the top and baked it.
Sounds
And
delish.
did some corns, sweet corns, corn on the cobs on the side. That was really, really nice. So that's the type of food that I've been doing. Some warm but really tasty food.
Right.
And but on my to-do list, because I haven't managed to do it yet, is I'm still going to make your seed bread. So that's definitely on my list.
So good.
And I saw a really lovely cranberry bread from someone else as well this week. So I think I'm going to get on with that too.
That sounds good.
What about you?
Oh, you know what I've been eating is a salad.
Is it?
Salad. Yeah.
Oh,
It's
is it not
just
fruit
lettuce,
in there?
pear. Yeah. Lettuce, pear, prosciutto, crispy prosciutto, and then just a really some cheese and a really simple vinaigrette. I don't know. It's just been so good. I've been just what I fancied. Yeah. Do you have a goal for this coming week?
Still to progress my amount of clean eating. So where the balance has started to tip, to really now start to push that, to get back into that sort of lifestyle. So that's my goal for this week. More clean
Mine's
eating.
Exercising every day.
Okay, you can do it.
Next week, for episode 44, we're talking about bloated. Yes. Just the word gives us the horrors, whether it's from overeating, eating something that did not agree with you, or you just feel horribly puffed and bloated all over. We're going to shed some light on why this could be happening and hopefully alleviate some of that gassy, puffed up bloating for you. So throw open all the windows, because next week Sarah and I cut loose. Thanks for joining us. Visit our website, lovoniandsarah.com, for more on each episode, and find links below and how to connect with us on social media. Thank you. Bye for now.